Human beings are not accidental. They are a conscious ray of the great central sun, a living atom in the body of God. They carry a sun within themselves, the Christ light, a core of pure consciousness, the same intelligence that forms stars and births worlds. Human beings are a conscious atom in this great living body. They can through conscious thought. Love and vibration help co-create harmony. They are an expression of the central sun, and thus a child of light. But humans have forgotten who they are. They think they are flesh, temporary, separate. And so they wander around like a child that no longer recognizes the house of its father. Yet Spalding says, when humans raise their vibration, they re-enter the realm of their origin. We are here to remember, to awaken, to become conscious co-creators of the cosmos in love and wisdom, as it was always meant. How do new universes come into being? Spalding describes how new universes are born from the central sun, like seeds from a flower, not by explosion, but by emotional, intelligent vibration, not a big bang, but a conscious birth of spiritual light. Every new nebula is a thought of the great sun that takes shape. The comparison to cell division is striking. Just as a cell divides to bring forth new life, so the cosmos bursts into new forms, endlessly. Mathematics and vibration are the foundation of everything. Spalding asserts that these numbers are not symbolic, they are literal. The universe is built from mathematical, energetic and spiritual layers, number, ratio and vibration. Everything is number, is a quote from Pythagoras. Everything is vibration, is a quote from Spalding. What do the numbers 91 and 91,000 mean? 91 is the sum of 1 through 13. It means completion. 91,000 is exponential scale of cosmic structure, like pixels in higher resolution structures. Not symbolic, but concrete model of structure, as computers are built on bytes and bits. Examples of this are the golden ratio, 1118. You see it back in flowers, spiral nebulae, DNA. The flower of life is the blueprint of every atom, every planet. The harmony of the spheres shows that planets relate to each other like notes on a cosmic musical instrument. Every thought is a frequency. Every color is a vibration. Every planet is a tone. So the cosmos is not mechanical, but musical, poetic, mathematical, and alive. The universe is music and frequency. Every atom vibrates at a specific frequency. The heavenly music, the harmony of the spheres, refers to the mathematical distances between planets and their orbital frequencies. Pythagoras already taught, everything is number, every sound is a mathematical vibration, every color is a vibration, every planet is a vibration. Computers are based on binary code, 0 and 1, pure mathematics. The universe, according to Spalding, also functions on conscious coding of energy, via thoughts that build form and reality. Think of the concept of divine coding, creation as a living energetic network, similar to the internet. Planets are living beings. In Spalding's description, planets, flattened oblate spheroids, due to rotation, breathing and vibration, not perfect spheres, as drawn in school, but living, breathing bodies. That is the correct term for a planet that is flattened at the poles and bulging at the equator due to rotation. Spalding describes this in the context of the universe as being in perfect harmony, but also that even celestial bodies are not perfect spheres, due to motion, rotation, and vibration. He does not describe this as an aberration, but as a natural consequence of rotational force and the life energy, prana, that flows through everything. Earth and other planets are thus in form living bodies, subject to breathing, rotation, expansion, and thus their flattened shape arises. According to NASA and modern astronomy, almost all planets in our solar system, including Earth, are oblate spheroids. But why don't we often learn this way in school, and many people don't know this? Because many school books and illustrations depict planets as perfect spheres for simplicity of visualization. But in astronomy, it has long been acknowledged that, for example, Earth is flattened at the poles, 21-kilometer difference in radius. Saturn is even more flattened due to its rapid rotation. So summarizing, Spalding acknowledges that planets are not perfect spheres. He describes them as part of a living, breathing and vibrating universe. The shape of planets, oblate spheroid, supports his vision that the universe is dynamic and intelligent, and not mechanical or static. Even Earth sighs and pulses. It is a cell of consciousness in motion. Spalding calls this not a flaw, but a sign that the planet is alive, just like you. Why does NASA and other space agencies not always show full, raw, or unedited images? And why are some things omitted, edited, or never discussed? Image editing is a fact and is admitted. NASA itself admits that almost all images they publish of planets, stars, galaxies, or Earth are edited. They call this color correction. Colors are adjusted to make certain features visible. Composite imaging. Images from multiple sensors, satellites are merged into one visual whole. Artistic renderings. In some cases, incomplete data is filled in or visualized. False color images. Colors not matching what the human eye sees are applied to make data visible. This is not necessarily lying, but it does create confusion, because what people see appears real, but is not a pure original image. Many people think they are looking at a photo, while it often is a digital interpretation of raw measurement data. Why doesn't NASA show all original images? There are a number of official and unofficial explanations. These are the official reasons. 1. Security, strategic interests. Satellite imagery may have military value. Some data is only shared with governments or universities. 2. Public comprehension. NASA says that raw data for the general public would be not understandable or too technical. Therefore, they make edited versions for simplicity and aesthetics. 3. Volume of data. The amount of imagery is enormous. Not everything is interesting enough to release. Independent researchers and whistleblowers have proven that NASA withholds or adjusts images, including of 4, concealment of anomalies. Some raw images allegedly show structures, objects or shapes that do not fit the official narrative. Think of geometric structures on the Moon, Mars, or moon of Saturn, Iapetus. 5. Censorship of extraterrestrial signals or artifacts. There are reports of photos with pixel distortions, odd blurred spots, or black boxes over certain areas. Some scientists suspect that parts are actively removed from images. 6. Control over the narrative. By controlling the imagery, one also controls public interpretation. Only show what supports the story is PR strategy. Photoshop file, known from NASA graphic designer, clearly shows it is an artistic rendering. Why then doesn't one state this clearly? Because most people think, if it's on the NASA website, it must be correct. But the reality is more complex. NASA is a government agency and works with defense, intelligence agencies and commercial parties. What gets out is often a filtered version of a larger reality. And yes, there are certainly employees, insiders and ex-workers who have spoken out against this. They say, not everything is a lie, but it is carefully managed. What doesn't fit the picture is withheld. You don't have to fall into paranoia, but into awareness. Ask yourself, why do I see this image? Who composed it? What is missing? And trust your intuition. If something feels off, you often feel it immediately. Spaulding would say, what you see with your eyes is never complete. Only the inner light sees the full truth. We live in a world where we are served images of a supposedly lifeless universe, formed from chance and chaos. But behind those images hides a greater truth, a living cosmic body full of intelligence. And yes, sometimes human eyes are. This is one of the most extensive cosmological treatises in the book, and it offers a complete spiritual vision of the origin of planets, the universe, human consciousness, and the cycle from creation to rebirth. Below, I give you a clear and orderly summary that can also be explained to children, in order and explained in very simple language. If one understands this vast, super-intelligent cosmos, then one truly realizes how small and narrow-minded humans think. And one penetrates through every religion, dogma, and superstition. What is the great central sun and the living universe? According to Spaulding, in the beginning there was no void, there was light, but not ordinary light, an infinite, conscious, intelligent radiation of love and life force, which we can call the great central sun. Not to be confused with a star, not something you can see with your telescope. The great central sun is not a burning ball of plasma. It is the ultimate origin of everything, of energy, of creation, of life. It is the cosmic heartbeat of the all. This great sun is infinite in size, without beginning or end, and it exists outside time and space as we know them. From its core flows an endless wave of vibration, like the beating heart of a cosmic body, in which we all, stars, planets, humans, are merely cells. What is the great central sun? The great central sun is the ultimate, divine core of all that exists. Not a physical star, but an intelligent, spiritual power source, the source of all light, energy, consciousness, planets and universes. Everything that exists is an emanation of this original sun. This central sun is 91,000 times larger than the mass of 91 universes combined. The structure of the universe is built in living layers. According to Spaulding, the universe is not chaos. No accidental gas cloud in a void. On the contrary, it is structured like a living organism, perfectly organized. He describes it as follows. 91 universes rotate like a cosmic flower around one central sub-sun in one cluster. See this cluster as a large soap bubble in which the 91 universes reside. There are 91,000 clusters that rotate around the ultimate great central sun. Each cluster contains 91 universes. One universe contains one sub-sun. In one universe we see an enormous number of reflections of the central sub-sun, which we call a galaxy. All stars you see are thus a reflection of the central sub-sun. Each reflected sun is a solar system. The reflections we see are actually portals that bring forth planets that are born from the central sub-sun and pass through the portal into our solar system. Everything that exists is born from the light. The sub-suns are children of the great central sun, better explained as auxiliary sources that bring life everywhere. In our solar system fit 9 planets. We count 8 at this moment. And if correct, a new one has already been born. Nibiru, Planet X. And this pattern repeats infinitely, just like in the flower of life. This is the sacred geometry of the all, a mathematical, vibrating web of consciousness, in which everything is connected. The ratio 91 and 91,000 is not symbolic. It is mathematical precision. 91 is the sum of the numbers 1 through 13, the cycle of completion. 91,000 is a scale up that repeats in layers. A living fractal. Each universe has its own sun. Each of the 91 universes also has its own central auxiliary sun, 91,000 times smaller than the great central sun. That sun provides order, light, and the birth of planets in that specific universe, a consciousness core that ensures creation, harmony, energy distribution, and evolution of its environment. Spalding compares it to a cell in a body. Each universe is a cell with its own core. All structures of the source you see everywhere in that we call sacred geometry. Later, in next episodes, I explain everything about that. These auxiliary suns are millions of times more powerful than our local sun, which is a reflection of the auxiliary sun. The auxiliary suns are not visible to the eye because they vibrate at a higher frequency than our physical spectrum allows. And within those universes reside stars like our sun, Sol, what we call a galaxy. Suns like these appear to emit light, but in reality, they reflect the power of the central auxiliary sun, which in turn is connected to the great central sun. What we see in the sky is a reflection of spiritual light, fractured and distorted by layers of vibration, like a mirror shows an image of an unseen reality. What we see is therefore not the source, but an echo. The sun in our sky is a visible translation of invisible power. Spalding says, "The image of the sun arises just like in a mirror. You do not see the source itself, but the reflection of its radiation. If the great central sun were physically in our solar system, we would burn. That powerful is its vibration. What we see is a transformed imprint, a consciousness spark converted into light waves. What is the role of human beings in all this? Consciously averted from what they are not allowed to see, but the heart can still look. Is the sun feminine or masculine? The central sun, and everything that emanates from it, is androgynous, perfectly balanced between masculine and feminine. The masculine, the radiant light, the active force. The feminine, the shaping womb, the receptive codex of the divine universe. Together they form the dance of creation. Without one, no life. In that sense, the sun is a cosmic mother and father at once. Why is this important? Because you are that. You are not a child of dust, but a ray of the great central sun. You are not a victim of time, but a master of vibration. You are not lost. You are on the way back to remembering. When you become aware of your origin, you see that the sun is not an object in the sky, but an inner flame waiting in silence until you feel it again. You are not a spectator of the universe. You are the universe remembering itself in human form. Here a fragment from Spalding's book, Part 3, Chapter 7. This so-called universe of ours that rotates around that central sun is but one of 91 such universes that rotate around a central sun. This central sun is 91,000 times larger than the whole mass of the 91 universes. These cosmic centers reflect and coordinate the pure vibration of the great central source, which itself is infinite and eternal. In other words, the great central sun is infinite and immortal. Just like the central power station supplies energy to the fuse box which distributes energy through wiring, and the lamp that only lights up when connected. So also works the cosmic light network. The central sun is the source. The auxiliary suns in each galaxy are distribution nodes. And the suns we see, like ours, are reflections. They seem to emit light, but mirror the original life force. And just as every room in a house has a lamp, every star in the night sky has its own planetary system, but all those stars are, like our sun, not original sources, but local transformers of a much greater light power. Important to understand, without the central sun, no star could shine. Without connection to that source, there would be no life, no light, no atom.